Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Lolix. In today's lesson, we'll be taking a look at adverbs. Adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. They commonly describe how, when, or where the action of a verb took place. How refers to the manner in which an action occurred. When addresses the time of the action. Where investigates the place or location the action took place. Here are some examples. The boys ran loudly down the stairs. How did the boys run? Loudly. We went down later. When did we go? Later. He delivered pizza locally. Where did he deliver? Locally. Adverbs can also be used to modify adjectives and other adverbs. The train leaves at a reasonably early hour. The adverb reasonably modifies the adjective early. She spoke quite passionately about politics. The adverb quite modifies the adverb passionately. Which should you use, adjectives or adverbs? When writing, people often have a choice in wording a sentence to use either an adjective or an adverb. Adjective, we had a quick lunch. Adverb, we ate lunch quickly. So how do you choose when to use an adjective and when to use an adverb? One way to choose is simply to figure out whether the word you want to modify is a noun or a verb. In the first sentence, you are describing the lunch. In the second sentence, you are describing the manner of eating. A better approach, though, is not to think about the words you can modify, but the information you want to convey. You do not need to describe every noun or verb, just the ones whose details are important to the sentence. If you want to emphasize the meal, you would pick the first sentence. If you want to emphasize the act of eating, you would pick the second. Remember, adjectives and adverbs can be separated by which types of information they provide. Think about the details that are necessary to include, then choose your modifiers accordingly. Adverbs are used to answer how, when, and where an action took place. More specifically, consider: when did something happen? How often did it occur? How was the action performed? Where did it take place? Let's explore some examples. Describing when. The last time I went shopping was a while ago. Describing how often. I visit my friends frequently. Describing how. He ran quickly in the race. Describing where. She sat down nearby. Many adjectives can be made into adverbs simply by adding ly to the end. However, there are other adverbs that do not end in ly: very, quite, somewhat, most, least, and many others. Prepositional phrases as adverbs. You can use prepositional phrases as adverbs if they modify a verb, adjective, or adverb. For example, don't judge a book by its cover. The phrase by its cover describes the verb judge. I am tired of this diet. Of this diet describes the adjective tired. The hyphenated adverb. Hyphens can be used to combine an adverb and adjective to describe a noun. In this situation, the adverb is describing the adjective, and the adjective is describing the noun. However, when the adverb ends with ly, a hyphen should not be used. Let's review some examples. Beautiful looking flowers. Best known author. Well-rounded student. Best paid job. If the hyphen was removed from any of these examples, the phrase would take on a different meaning. For example, best known author with the hyphen describes the author who is known the best, whereas best known author used without a hyphen would describe an author who is separately both best and known. The hyphen is what makes sure that the best describes known rather than the author. Modifiers. A modifier is a word or phrase that describes another word or phrase. Two common types of modifiers are the adverb, a word that describes an adjective, a verb, or another adverb, and the adjective, a word that describes a noun or pronoun. However, though all adjectives and adverbs are modifiers, not all modifiers are adjectives and adverbs. Many modifiers are entire phrases. For example, responsible for representing students to the faculty and overseeing student organizations, the Student Council plays an important role in campus life. The modifying phrase, in green, provides additional information about the subject of the sentence, the Student Council. Clarity with modifiers. Above all, it should always be clear to the reader which word an adjective, adverb, or modifying phrase is describing. By paying attention to placement and making sure that if you want to modify a verb, you use an adverb instead of an adjective, you will make it much easier for your reader to pick up on your intended meaning. In situations where modifiers are used incorrectly, the result is a dangling modifier, a misplaced modifier, or a squinting modifier. Dangling modifiers. A dangling modifier occurs when the modifying phrase is too far away from the word it is supposed to describe. As a result, the modifier appears to refer to something else, causing confusion for the reader. Dangling modifiers can be corrected by restructuring the sentence. Let's look at some examples. Covering most of Europe, the illustration showed the glacier created thousands of lakes. Here, the phrasing makes it seem that the illustration covers most of Europe. Let's correct it. Covering most of Europe, the glacier created thousands of lakes, as depicted in the illustration. Here, the modifying phrase clearly refers to glacier as it is intended. Let's look at another example. Walking across the desert, fierce winds swirled around the riders. Here, the dangling modifier makes it seem like the winds are walking across the desert. Fierce winds swirled around the riders as they walked across the desert. The sentence has been rephrased so that the riders are the ones walking across the desert. The third example. Strolling through the park, the squirrels scampered across our feet. This dangling modifier makes it sound like the squirrels are enjoying a nice stroll in the park. As we stroll through the park, squirrels scampered across our feet. The sentence has been clarified so that the speaker and his companion are the ones who are strolling. Misplaced modifiers. Similar to a dangling modifier, a misplaced modifier occurs when it is unclear what word or words the modifier is referencing. Most misplaced modifiers can be corrected by placing the modifying phrase next to the subject it refers to. Here are some examples. Eric couldn't ride his bicycle with a broken leg. Here, it sounds like the bicycle has a broken leg. With his broken leg, Eric couldn't ride his bike. Now that the modifier is in the right place, the sentence makes it clear that Eric is the one with a broken leg. The little girl walked the dog wearing a skirt. Is the little girl walking a dog that is wearing a skirt? No. Still wearing a skirt, the little girl walked the dog. Here, it's clear that the young lady is the one in the skirt. Squinting modifiers. A squinting modifier is a modifier that is placed right next to the word it refers to, but is also near another word that it might be modifying. This can also be corrected by restructuring the sentence. Here are some examples. Cycling uphill quickly strengthens the leg muscles. Here, quickly could modify either cycling uphill or strengthens the leg muscles. Quickly cycling uphill strengthens the leg muscles. Now it's clear that the cycling is the one that has to be quick. Peter ate the pie sitting on the windowsill. Is Peter sitting on a windowsill or is it the pie? Peter ate the pie that was sitting on the windowsill. Now it's clear that it was the pie that was on the windowsill. With that, we've reached the end of today's lesson. If you have any questions or doubts, please leave a comment. Thank you.